All right, welcome to the AdaptX podcast, where we have conversations with people building accessible businesses, advocating for inclusion, or excelling in adaptive sports. Our intention is never to speak on behalf of those with disabilities, but to provide a platform to amplify their voice and share their stories. Today, I'm joined by Dennis Murphy. Dennis has been training with us here at Unified for a little over a year, but I've known Dennis for about 15. His nephew, Zach, maybe more so than anyone else, influenced the career path that I chose. He was the first athlete that I worked with at Special Olympics. But today we're here to talk about Dennis's recovery over the last 2 years, what he has learned, and what we hope others will take away from this episode. So, Dennis, thank you. So maybe take us back before the stroke. So your stroke was a little over 2 years ago, but before that, what recreation, what sports, what athletic pursuits did you find the most joy in?
So I used to ride my bike. I used to swim every single day. I used to swim 2 miles in a little over an hour. I used to ride my bike, at night in the early mornings.
So those activities have guided a lot of the things that we've worked on in the gym, as well as the goals that he wants to get back to. But we don't want to bury the lead. So a little over 2 years ago, do you want to tell us a bit about the stroke?
Sure. So I was at 2 weeks before this was when I think it happened. And 2 weeks before leading up to the stroke, it was a wicked bad headache, incredibly bad headache. And I went to the doctor Thursday, and he said, just cut down a little bit on your you're going to need to reboot this. Polyps. What do they call it? A thing that goes up your nose.
Oh, like a sinus clear?
Yeah. They call it something.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anyhow, they told me to be careful and clean out my polyps. Do it every other day instead of every day. That's fine. So that was Thursday morning, and then Friday I went for a bike ride, and Saturday I went for a bike ride, and Saturday night it was wicked bad headache. So my wife took me to the hospital, and they checked me out until 2 o'clock in the morning and said, we can't find anything wrong. You're fine enough to go home. And anyhow, I got home. Next morning, I woke up a little bit late, woke up around 9 o'clock because it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and went down to the end of my driveway, which is maybe 2 car lengths long, came back up the front stairs, and that's it. I had a stroke right then.
And what do you remember from that experience?
I remember a couple of things. I remember waking up and saying, what is wrong with me? First of all, what are all these people doing around me?
Yeah.
And I couldn't move my right side. I couldn't say anything. But other than that, I really don't remember too much other than that.
Do you know how long the period was between when you had the stroke and when you woke up?
Well, I never really went to sleep. I never really passed out right then. I just kind of was in a dazed state from there. And I would say from there until the total operation happens, I'd say it's probably 7 hours, 8 hours, something like that.
There's common symptoms of stroke. Did you notice anything outside of that bad headache?
No. I remember this. I could not say my name at all. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, but leading up to it, there was no other symptoms that would have. I guess especially if you had already gone and got checked out, they would have identified those things. So that really, I guess, shows you that it can really happen out of the blue as well.
Out of the blue. Yeah, mine happened because basically I had a cut in my carotid somehow. I think it was due to an injury. I think I either hit something on my bike or I did something else where I caused a little paper. I call it a paper cut, but it's not a paper cut. Caused a little paper cut up here, and that's caused a stroke to happen. So they figured that happened about 10 days to 2 weeks before the actual stroke happened.
Okay. Can you articulate what that's like when you wake up and you're consciously aware of what's going on, but you're unable to speak?
It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. Not to jump ahead, but I can say the first time I was here at the gym, people I knew, I says,
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember just thinking he must be overwhelmed by all these people who know who you are.
Right.
But you don't necessarily, you probably wouldn't even know who all of them are, even without the stroke. These are people that you've probably seen only a handful of times. So I remember trying to swell that a little bit just so it wasn't overwhelming. But I know you like being able to say hi and talk to the people in the gym, so it's not too much of a issue.
I couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
It was awful.
How long did it take the language to come back?
I would say like 6 months, maybe most. I mean, I could say a few words. I never forget, but when I was in the hospital, the doctor came around while our attendings with her and had said, "Tell him to say a word." I couldn't, and she said, "Tell him to sing Happy Birthday." I sang
Really?
Happy Birthday. I couldn't sing well. At least I can sing it.
Yeah.
Because that's something that I know how to do. You know,
Interesting.
that's in my brain. That's
So that was kind of technically the first thing you were able to say.
it is.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. And then you get right into speech and language. What was that inpatient? Where you're at Spaulding?
Yes.
What was the inpatient process like?
Um, you know, every day we go around this, I call it a boardroom table, but we all sit in a circle, and the lead person, I guess, called her occupational therapist, tossed over like a beach ball, not a beach ball, but like a golf ball, and you have to catch it. You have to say what your name was, what happened to you. Honest to God, I could not say my name is Dennis Murphy. I tried, but I could not say it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, it's not a matter of trying. It's not like you can just like try harder. It's the disconnect. So,
Correct.
what do you think was most effective in helping you get your language back? Just repetition.
Yeah, I would say happened more when I get home. My wife had this awesome game called Go Fish, where Go Fish type with letters. And she'd hold up the letter G, for example, and say, "Is this a R?"
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, So that's how she got me to recognize letters. So, yeah.
Was it frustrating that that is kind of an elementary task? And like how much more frustrating does it make it?
It makes it very frustrating.
Yeah.
Very frustrating. Because I'll never forget when I was in the hospital, like I said before, they asked me what my name was. I asked everybody what their name was. I could not say my name.
Yeah.
And that made it very frustrating.
Yeah. So now you're about 2 years post-stroke.
Yep.
The language is mostly back.
Okay.
You have trouble with like what aspects of speaking?
Sometimes I get confused, but sometimes I can't say the words I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That caused me some frustration, but whatever.
Yeah. So kind of like, oh, that word's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't like retrieve it.
Exactly.
So some language retrieval.
Exactly.
But comprehension wise, like receptive language, still pretty strong, right?
Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah. Writing wise.
I can write, but see, my right side of my body is fully affected.
Yeah.
So my right side of the body couldn't do anything. Therefore, because I'm a right-hander, I can't really write, but I can type. I can do things like that. My writing is okay. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's enough to people understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So you've always been in the insurance world.
Yep.
So that's occupation. So what has it been like going back to work? I guess what are the biggest challenges and what things have you learned that have helped you continue to work?
Yeah. Fortunately, the people there know me and know that I do anything for them. So therefore, they give you a lot of extra credit or whatever. I see certain customers that know me, but I don't really see anybody that doesn't know me because I don't want to go out there and I don't say make a fool out of myself because that's not true, but make it look like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a stigma, I guess, associated with that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the more you're out there, the more people will understand, and you're still able to do your job in the same way that.
I would
ways.
say, I would say I'm not as good as I used to be, but I can do it a little bit. I can do it okay.
During the inpatient stay at Spaulding, do you recall about how long you were there?
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
We can master on 4 weeks at Spaulding.
Okay. And then when you got home, what was the continuation of care like?
They had people come to my house. They had occupational therapists, a speech therapist, and physical therapists come to my house. Those guys were there until the middle of August.
Okay. And you were getting therapy every day?
Yes.
Do you know, can you speak much on like the importance of recovery in the first few months? Did they talk to you about like how important that was in terms of how much progress you'll make overall?
Definitely, they told me that was very important, and excuse me, the stronger I do with that, the better I'd be. So in other words, it has to come out of the gates running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And it's 2 years later, but you're still, I mean, your therapy schedule is still pretty consistent and thorough. Do you want to take us through maybe what like a week looks like?
Sure. I get up Monday mornings. I have physical therapy at 9 o'clock. From there, I go to the pool. From there, I take a shower and go to work. I generally have speech in the afternoon, generally about 3 o'clock. Tuesdays, I come here. Then I go to the pool. Then I go to work. Wednesdays, I have physical therapy. Then I go to work. Or I go to the pool as well. Then I go to work. And Thursdays rather, I come here. And then I go to the pool. And I have work after that. And then Fridays, I have physical therapy. And then late afternoon. Because we do Talk Your Walk. I don't know if you guys have heard that before. No. Talk Your Walk is basically you walk around a track. So it's around a pond, and you have a speech therapist with you. Yeah, she'll ask various questions, but you have to make sure you don't trip. So therefore, she is asking you, "What did you see for movies?" or "What is this?" You have to answer those, but you also can't trip because you can't be focusing that much on your foots, on your feet that you're not really paying attention.
So therapy every day, and then every so often you meet with the group at UMass, right? For more speech.
Yep, I meet with the group at UMass, and I also meet with the people at Spaulding. So those are once a month.
For people supporting a family member or a friend post-injury or post-accident or post-stroke, what advice could you give? So maybe it's a loved one, a son or a daughter. What advice could you give to someone who's supporting someone in your situation?
I would say be kind and let them lead the way. In other words, because so many people come into my house and start yakking at me like they're a regular person would. My wife would be like, no, he can't understand you. Just slow it down.
Yeah.
Slow it down. Then he'd start slow, and then she'd run up again. And all of a sudden, it'd go right over my head.
Yeah.
So I would say, let the person who suffered whatever it was, let them lead the way.
Yeah. And also maybe lead the way in terms of deciding what's important to them and what they want to work on. Right. So like no one knows your goals better than you.
Right.
And no one knows your day-to-day life better than you. So I guess having PT, OT, fitness, whatever it is, tailored to those goals,
yes,
I think has been pretty important, right?
Yes. So, I mean, that's what we're working on right now is getting me back swimming, which I can do every day now.
Yeah.
They're also getting me back to riding my bike.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite there, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, you say you're not quite there. So I know it's frustrating. I mean, it must be frustrating being a competitive athlete before the accident and then now trying to compare to what you were before. So have you had to kind of readjust, I guess, your perspective or what swimming is to you or what biking is to you?
No question. It's, it is very humbling to look at what we can do today versus what you can't do.
Yeah. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I guess there's a lot of benefits from those activities that go beyond just the paces that you perform them at.
No question.
So being able to keep them as part of a routine, I guess, would be really important.
Important thing for me too is riding my bike through the woods. Not like mountain biking, just riding riding through the woods because that brings me a sense of calm.
Yeah.
Not the very whatever.
No, I mean nature. Yeah, I mean nature. Nature definitely has a calming presence on everyone. That's well supported.
Yeah.
We are grateful for the support of our first show sponsor. Resolution Fitness offers leading brand health club equipment and accessories for residential and commercial use. In addition to traditional exercise equipment, they specialize in adaptive fitness products and wheelchair accessible machines. If you're interested in outfitting your fitness facility or home gym to be more accessible, visit www.resolutionfitness.ca or the link in the show notes below. So I guess what could you maybe share with the audience as to the importance of fitness and the importance of recreation in your recovery process and in your mental health?
So I can say this. First time we were down, remember I told you we were down that boardroom. Every day they go around and say, what what were the first words that came to your mind as soon as you were recovery, as soon as you could speak, as soon as you could, think by yourself? Avery said words like, I was scared, I couldn't believe this happened to me, why me, all those. I said, I'm determined, because I need to get out and do the things I used to do. And those do require a lot of determination. So, that's why I think athletics has been extremely important to me. And, it's worked out.
Yeah, because everything you do now takes that much more effort. I mean, right. I see you coming into the gym in the winter, getting your coat on, changing your shoes, etc. And just, I guess, giving yourself the grace to take a little longer and not be frustrated with yourself. I can't even imagine how emotionally taxing it is to take longer to do all those things.
Hey, at least it's something.
Yeah.
I like it this way. At least I'm out, because when I was in the hospital, I couldn't do anything. Especially when I was at Master, I could not do anything. Yeah. And I learned to do it all over again. So.
Yeah. Had to learn to do it all over again, and put in a lot of work though. It's not like it just happened by accident. Kind of earned everything that you've gotten back and continue to get back. Some of the assistive tech that you use, just want to cover some of those things, I guess. So I know when you do our 5K, you use your walking cane, but don't use that too frequently, right? No. Yeah, only on maybe uneven terrain or longer.
So when I get on the lake and the stairs go downhill, and I use it there. And to keep in the back of my car, whatever. If I get out and it's a little rough, I'll use that. But yeah.
And for people who might not be familiar with it, maybe we'll just introduce the BioNest, I guess.
Yeah.
So don't even have to show it necessarily, but maybe for those that are just listening, it's a little bit looks like an armband that's wrapped around Dennis's calf, and it syncs to your phone, and on your phone you adjust
exactly
what type of activity you're doing.
Yes, there's running, there's lifting weights, and there is just regular exercise with leg. And I use it for walking. So basically what happens is my legs, everybody's legs go with the palm of their foot down, the bottom of their foot down. Mine goes to the side. This causes the muscles down the right part of my thigh, the right part of my shin to react. So it goes thighs forward. So it goes every day forward.
Yeah. So the BioNest is working the ankle in a way that it should be already performing, but because of the stroke, it doesn't function in the same way. So, and it's a self-correcting piece, right? Like it learns your gait.
It does.
And then responds accordingly. So.
Yeah, it's a funny story about that though. I'll never forget. I was at the pool one day. I just got my badness maybe 2 months before. I was at the pool one day, dove in the water. I was like,
with it still on. And that's why you came to the gym and you're like, the BioNest is still wet. Yeah. So you have to take that off. Do you need anything for swimming, or are you just able to do it?
Yeah. I mean, it's too bad because it can't really run over to the water like it used to.
Yeah.
And I have to limp along the coping, but whatever. It's okay.
So for those who don't know, stroke typically affects one side of the body. So for you, it's your right side, everything from your arm to your leg, and limited in your overhead mobility, and then limited in your dexterity with your hands and your feet, right? So for the gym, we've just, I guess, picked exercises that match the specific ranges you're able to get into. And I typically use those activities of swimming and biking as a guide for the exercises we choose. So we kind of break down both of those activities into their component parts. So for biking, it's not just your cardio, it's your ability to swing your leg over the stem of the bike and mount the bike, balance on the bike. So there's a lot of core stability in that. Keeping the foot on the pedal even is a challenge. And then with swimming, we try to work some overhead mobility with like the ski erg and our presses and our pulls, just to give you the strength in those ranges to hopefully carry over to your swimming.
It's funny too, because you talk about strength, just like, just like it's a, whatever, like an orthopedic injury, but it's not, because the first time I went back to the first time I went back to the doctor, excuse me, I asked her a million questions. I could barely speak, but I could speak a little bit. And she kept saying, hang on, ask your wife, ask your wife, ask your wife. My wife's been awesome. But I said, I want to hear from you. He said, hold on, let me show you a picture of what your brain looked like that day. Honest to God, the left side of my brain was all destroyed because of stroke. And that was really kind of alarming to me, because that's, those brain cells are not coming back. So that as alarming as that was at the time, it's been more so recently, because now, like, okay, if these cells aren't coming back, like my leg, for example, goes this way because of the bionest, but I'm trying to get it to go that way normally.
Yeah.
But it won't go that way. At least it hasn't gone that way yet.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be forever.
Yeah. That's one of the questions that's always been hard that you've asked me, is like, when is the foot going to come back, or when am I going to be able to do this or that? And there's really no way of knowing. I mean, all strokes present differently depending on where the location was in the brain, and the severity of it. And so it's tough to know, but I guess all we can do is work with what you currently have and keep kind of pushing the boundaries of what you can't do in a safe way, kind of keep you working towards those goals.
Right.
I guess maybe in terms of goals, what on the horizon are you hoping to maybe be able to accomplish? Any long-term or short-term objectives?
I'm hoping to ride my bike across the country, as I said before, but I can't even ride my bike, down the block right now. But I'm hoping one day I'll be able to do that, especially as I get closer to 60, a couple of years. Hoping to be able to do that sometime between now and I'm 65.
You didn't really mention it before. So goal to ride the bike across the U.S.
That's right.
Would you want to do it on like an adaptive bike, or do you just want to do it on an upright?
Yeah, I'm thinking about an upright bike, So yeah.
Do you have a resistance to doing it on something that would be easier? I shouldn't say easier, not necessarily easier, but if, say, for example, balance is a limiting factor, it's not your leg strength, it's not your cardiovascular health, using an adaptive recumbent bike.
Yeah, I mean, something like that, I guess would be okay, but remember, I've been riding my bike for 40 years, and I really look at it as 2 wheels and that's it. So 3 wheels, so I have an adaptive bike at home that's has electronic assist. I don't really use that. I can use that anywhere I want to right now. Yeah. But I don't know, I don't really enjoy it.
You don't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably getting back to like, you probably have some sort of resentment towards the stroke taking away that activity you really loved, and you want to get back to doing it as you were before. But kind of like we talked about, I guess, just reacclimating to a new normal or a new standard. Right. The recumbent bike isn't necessarily a lesser option. It's just a different option, different position. And then swimming, just want to get back to being able to do that consistently, faster, further. In the same way that most people just want to be able to run faster, run further, or swim faster, swim further. So
not like that for me. It's just more about both bike riding and swimming are more about I don't want to say bring a calm. Because I'm not a hyper person, but bringing a sense of normalcy to my life.
Yeah,
that's how I go about both those activities.
Yeah, and you've commented on how the gym is kind of good in that way as well. Just like the community piece of it. It's one thing we've talked about and written about. I'm not a physical therapist. Don't pretend to do what an inpatient place like Spaulding does, but I think maybe one thing that we might do or have an advantage over a place like Spaulding is just the normalcy and the reacclimation into the community. Like you said before, all of our members say hi to you. They're all eager to see you, and they all knew you before your stroke, and they still are here after your stroke. So maybe without seeming like I'm just trying to draw compliments out of you, like what has the gym experience been like, I guess?
It's been great. It allows me to perform where as good as I can anywhere else, So in other words, for when I'm here, I feel like a normal person. It's really important to me.
Yeah. And I guess that just goes to show, it's something we've talked about on this, how you don't need a specialized adaptive facility to start supporting people post-injury or with disabilities. Just kind of need to create the environment and provide the necessary support. to get them successful in the gym. So our facility just looks like any other gym. It just might be kind of the approach that we take is a little different. But you have your program in the same way that all the other guys and women training have their programs, and myself, Joey, Ainsley, Kyle, various coaches are coaching you in the same way that we're coaching our other clients. And I think that's always been a priority of ours, is just to treat everyone the same way, I guess.
Right.
So
Which is good because
you don't want to be treated differently anyway.
Yeah, so yesterday I had a couple of people over my house. They said, "Do you need any help cooking dinner?" I said, "No, because I can do that."
Yeah.
Because in other words, there's so many things I can't do right now. The things I can do, I want to do myself. Not that I don't want the help.
Yeah.
But I honestly got to take the not take credit for myself.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
That
kind of goes to, like, I guess maybe disability etiquette. Is there anything that people do that is most frustrating?
A couple weeks ago, I was at a wedding. A bunch of typically the older people came over to you can grab my arm. "Oh, are you okay?" Like, yeah, arm back.
You're like, "No, I'm not okay," because you're grabbing my arm. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but I don't know. I think if a person has a true disability, they'll reach out when they need help. That's the same way I am. Every time I need help, I say, "Can you come over here and help me?"
Yeah. So it's not assuming, I guess it's not assuming that you want help. It's waiting for you to initiate it, or even just asking. I mean, I find myself even in the gym, like, I could run over and grab you that med ball, but do you really need me to grab it for you? Like, no. Yeah. And so, like, it's always in the back of my mind, like, I want to be helping, I want to jump over, but I don't want to do it in a way that's, like, patronizing. Like, I know what you can do and what you need help with, and I'm going to intervene when you need help, and I'm going to leave you to be independent when you don't need help. So, I guess that's one thing. I think disability etiquette and speaking to someone with a disability is one thing that a lot of people have trouble with.
See, and I got to tell you, I don't really consider myself disabled.
Right, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anything you can do, I can do.
Yeah.
Not as quick, not as fluent, but I can do whatever you can do.
Do you find people talking to you differently now?
Sometimes people talk to me differently. It's just, especially when right now I can't speak. Right, I can speak, but not as well as I could.
Mm-hmm.
And people hear that like, okay,
You're like, just talk to me in a regular tone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's like people default to either a higher inflection, like they're speaking to a child, or they default to like a really slow or even loud. Sometimes I see some people that are like talking louder to people, like it's going to help them understand if they like scream at them. So I guess the takeaway is just to treat you, talk to you, interact with you like you were before, but then also understand that maybe you need time to recall words. I always try not to finish your sentences if I don't need to. I try to let you find the words. But I mean, it's something where it's different for everyone, I guess.
It is. And I got to say, for me, I like people who, I shouldn't say like people because I like everyone.
I only like people.
I like people who let me do let me do as much as I can do.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
Let you struggle when you're kind of working through things and not just intervene immediately. What is one thing or one piece of advice that you could give to someone, maybe if they've just had a stroke or they've just experienced disability in some way, maybe it's a spinal cord injury or even just a smaller setback. You're 2 years into it. You know what it's been like, you know what it's taken to get to where you are now. Do you have any pieces of advice that you'd give to someone who's maybe just going through this process? Just
do it every day. Every day. I don't care what it is, whatever it is, but every single day. You have to get up and say words. You have to get up and exercise. I look at myself right now. I'm like, wow, look at all that accomplished the last 2 years. But I started doing little things every single day. Little things every single day. So I tell everybody out there, you have to put your best foot forward. Yeah, that consistency compounds over time, just being consistent with the PT and the OT and the language. Sometimes I guess progress is just not
not going backwards sometimes too.
Yes.
Maintaining your ability, maintaining your functional ability, your fitness. Sometimes people are so eager to see tangible progress that they don't realize that sometimes just maintaining where they're at or moving along slowly, it still can be progress.
Right.
So.
Right. And it's kind of weird because I don't want to make myself sound old, but also, as I progress on my fitness, I'm also getting a little older every day. I'm almost 60 years old, so therefore, at some point, my age is going to take over, but hopefully not soon.
Yeah, that's where like you sometimes ask me about like your ability to swim or your ability to bike, and I'm always like, well, not everyone who's in their late 50s can do these things to begin with. So I know you've regressed in some ways because of the stroke, but you're still in some ways healthier than a lot of people your age. You still have your job, you still have all your recreation activities, you're still able to do things with your family. So, yeah, I guess perspective can be tough,
Right.
tough when you're in it, but trying to kind of zoom out and seeing everything you're still able to do and accomplish.
That's exactly the point. Sometimes I get so down. I should take it down, but sometimes I get so consumed what I can't do that gets to me. But then I like to say, look at all I can do. All that makes me feel better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dennis, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm glad we finally were able to record, and we've been talking about this for a while. So, look forward to sharing it, and we'll include some links in the show notes about stroke, so people can learn a little more about it, as well as maybe some of the resources that you already use, like Spaulding, some of those organizations that have been really impactful in your recovery. So we'll include some links to those in the show notes, but we'll be releasing this in the next week or so, and look forward to sharing it. Thank you for listening to the AdaptX podcast. Our effort to amplify the ideas of our guests and create more inclusive and accessible industries is futile unless these episodes reach a larger audience. If you enjoyed our discussion today, please leave us a rating or a review on whichever platform you use. And if you would like to learn more about AdaptX, the course that we teach to health and fitness professionals and the projects that our organization is working on, you can subscribe to our newsletter through our website, www.adaptx.org. Until next Monday.